What up, guys? So it is the end of July and it is freaking hot. And it's about 100 degrees. And I figured now would be a good opportunity to show you guys how the system we have is working. How we hooked up our air conditioner and how well it's working. So we'll go ahead and pop in there. Okay, now we're gonna go into the room. I decided to wait a couple more minutes so that just a little bit hotter, I guess. We'll go out there and check it out. Okay, I wanted to touch on this while I can. I'm gonna put this into the how to set up a DIY CoolBot air conditioner for your mushroom room or whatever. But here you can see it's clocking in at 60, even 59 now, and it just turned off. And we're seeing that the probe for the room is reading at 63.6. So this is where the light bulb comes on. You may get away without using the light bulb. You can see the probe's right over here where it's reading 59. But this is why you would use the light bulb. I was actually getting ready to set it up a few days ago, just didn't get around to it. But I mean, there is often times when it's warmer outside that this will be reading higher because this room is generally warmer, and it doesn't really have this problem because it feels as though it is warmer. But when it's kind of close like this, we have about a 4-degree difference from where we want it to be, and this is reading a little bit cooler. It's a cooler morning here. This is where the problems will arise, and this is why you would need a light bulb. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. I'm going to throw this into the middle of the video. So we're in the grow room, and it's like 100 degrees outside. It's about 4 o'clock. It's like the hottest part of the day. And we're at like 76, 77 degrees. Can't really just see it yet. I'll probably pull it in just a second. I'm going to show you guys how I set up like a DIY CoolBot with a couple of temperature controllers from Baylight. I think Inkbird makes one that would work maybe, but these are rated for 15 amps, so it's good with the air conditioner. Make sure that the thermostats are rated for the power that you're going to run through them. We're also running a light bulb through them, so I'll kind of give you guys a rundown of how this works. So you got the first one here, and that has the probe that's going into the room. You can't really see it, but it comes from right here. It just goes up over here into the fruiting room, which is just boop, right over here. We've just harvested. There's not much going on in there. So we have our first thermostat. Right? So we're going to set the temperature we want our room at. The probe is going to be in the room. This is simple. You set up the thermostat as if it's just a regular temperature controller. The heater's actually plugged into this too. We've got our little radiant oil heater over here, which does not do anything in the summer, but take up space. Alright. I'm realizing how funny my hat looks. But we'll just deal with it. We're going to deal with it. And what we're going to do, we're going to plug another thermostat into the cooling port on the first one. And that's where things get fun. So just try to keep up with me here. We have our other thermostat. It's plugged in the first one. First one's to set up how you want your room. So what the second one's going to do, and this is how it's like a CoolBot. which costs a few $100s, I believe. And these two together cost 60 bucks. And they work really well. And then on the second one, we're gonna need a splitter. Kind of hard to see right there. I'm gonna run all over this again. And one cord on the split is gonna go to an extension cord to a light bulb, and then the other one's gonna go to an air conditioner. So in our second thermostat, we have a split with our air conditioner plugged in and a light bulb. And we're gonna set this so that when the radiator, that's not the right, evaporator on the air conditioner starts to freeze, because that'll cause problems for your air conditioner and your grow room as far as the flow goes. If it starts to freeze, it'll turn it off, because what we're going to do is to trick it to keep running. We're going to make it think that it's warmer than it is, so it keeps producing air. Because what happens is, on a lot of these units, they put the sensor right by the evaporator where it gets the coldest, so it thinks that it's colder than the room is by far, most often. And we're going to trick it with the light bulb, essentially, to make it think that it's warmer. So I'm going to get in here, get a little bit closer so you guys can see what's going on, and give a little rundown. Alright, so, and another thing, I have this heat exchanger thing, which is kind of coming apart a little bit. I'm going to have another video to go over that, but the air comes in, and it's coming in around 100 degrees, and I was going to try to get a reading on this. I don't know how well it's going to do me. I mean, it's coming in around 86, it says, which is pretty good. I mean, that's, you know, it's doing a good job. I'll have another video for this, but I wanted to let you guys know that it is having a pre-treatment before it comes into the air conditioner, but that's not really what this video is about, I suppose. But, so we have our first one that's set up for how we want our room. I have it at 60, and then it has like a 5-degree variable on it, so it'll go up to 65 before it cools it back down to 60. In the event that it gets that cool. In the summer it hasn't been, or in the hottest days in the summer it hasn't been. And then we have our heating and cooling. You can ignore the heating. The cooling is, we're going to bring it to the second thermostat. We're going to have this one set at 35 degrees, which will give it a little headroom before it starts to freeze over. Because if it starts to freeze, because back here, take this off, we have our evaporator. And you can't see it from this angle, because I took it out. This is where we have our light bulb here on the other side of where this evaporator cover is. But that's the thermostat sensor for the air conditioner. They put it right next to the evaporator, so it thinks that it's cold. And this is how it is even on like the window AC units. So what you're going to have to do is pull this out from the cover if you can. The actual CoolBot has a smaller resistor, so it's not like a big old light bulb. But if you can remove the sensor and put a light bulb next to it, and then put a little foil around it to trick it into thinking that it's warmer than it really is, because it'll get cold right here. I have even tried just to put the sensor right outside of the evaporator cover, and it doesn't do it. But this light bulb is connected to that extension cord here in the second cooling unit. So this pretty much just acts as a safety for if your evaporator starts to freeze. And that's all the CoolBot really does also. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's a couple another video or two kind of demonstrating how to do this, but you take the sensor on this and just, I've put it here. put the sensor here down at the bottom of the evaporator because that's where it gets the coldest. If it starts to freeze over, it'll freeze over at the bottom first. So that, if that starts to happen, or when that starts to happen, because this thing will be running nearly 24/7 if you let it, it'll turn this off. Simple as that. This just acts as a turn off for if it starts to freeze over, and it gives power to the air conditioner and the light bulb as long as it's not frozen. It's simple as that. This is a 5-watt LED light bulb, and I was using one of the light bulbs that has like the ring design and it kind of slips in there, but this works fine. I actually need to put a slightly better piece of foil on here, but I mean it really works just fine. Just being right next to it, the foil more or less just acts as a shade, so it's not just like lighting up and heating up the whole room essentially. I had to switch over to a different device because my phone's always dead. So I will probably get a new phone too or something because I like the 4K recording. I don't know if everybody can receive that, but it is kind of nice. And I know some of my videos aren't the best, and I do want to get a higher quality phone. But yeah, so that's that. I think we've about covered it. Just another quick little run over. You have your device, your first thermostat. I keep mine at 60 degrees. My strain's like between 55 and 65, so I have it set at 60. And even for when it's heating, it'll get that 5-degree differential. But for the cooling, to keep your AC running, you're going to need to trick it with that light bulb. And to keep it from freezing, you're going to need a second thermostat. And they need to be rated for the same rating as your air conditioner. So I hope that helps somebody. I know there's because you can use these to make walk-in refrigerators. People use them to cool hash protection areas, hashish, and it's really made a huge difference for us. Like I said, we're getting like it right now about a 23-degree differential, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're moving this much fresh air in and out of here, it is a bit much. I don't have my CO2 meter battery out here, or I would show some of the CO2 levels, but I mean, things are looking good. We did a bunch of harvesting. There's really not much out here. You do see a little stress, but they can tolerate these 70s. And you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. We didn't insulate nearly as well as we'd hoped originally. We're only working with 15 amps as it is out here in this garage, and we're really pushing it as it is. Our next location, we're really looking forward to making some great changes. But here in the beginning, you know, these are the kind of things that you have to do. And yeah, so I hope that helps somebody. Another thing I was going to mention, I guess, is when it's been hot days consistently, like if you've had like 3 or even just 2 hot days in a row, then that's going to put a lot more stress on your system than if it was just one hot day, because the room doesn't even get to completely recover, and it's just like building heat again rather than cooling off. Like it hasn't even been cooling off much for the nights. And yeah, so if it's just one hot day, That's one thing, but it's been this hot for almost a week now, and we still got a few more to go, and we're just doing our best. So, all right, mushroom family, if anybody has any questions on that, feel free to reach out. I'll even leave a link to this air conditioner. It's been pretty good. It works really well. Yeah. And then it has the exhaust just going right out. It does suck in the air right here. Enjoy your day, family.